day is finally here. Markiplier has finally posted again, and the Poppy Playtime Chapter 4 teaser trailer has arrived. Let us begin. Okay. We got Hoppy Hopscotch and Dog Day. And someone to the left. Oh, it's the whole Smiling Critters gang. Right? There's no one new. What is going on? What is Mini Dog Day doing? Oh. Who's that? That's a Bobby Bear hug. Oh, okay. Cannibal Island, the next chapter, of course. Oh god, there's a lot of What is this dump? Chapter 4, the rubbish chute? What is going on? Is that it? January? Alrighty. That was a short teaser trailer, but I guess it's just meant to be a teaser. So unlike the screenshots we saw on Steam, this actually has a lot more toys in it. And it's not just the Smiling Critters that we know, because in that last scene we see Huggy Wuggies and all the other toys as well. That's quite cool. You would think it's just a bag of trash, but it's actually this sheep Rampage plush, and then every other plush that ever existed. That is so cool, but we've got some interesting stuff around here. Oh my god, I saw something. We've got these really big boxes over here, and I guess one over here as well with that new logo. Let's take these into Photoshop and see what we can find. Is he coming down here because that vault door open that we entered in, has that given access to some of the toys to now enter where chapter 4 is going to be? You can barely see it, but when I brighten the image, there's actually two other plushies in this screenshot. Over here, it looks like the ears of a catnap plush, and I have no idea what this thing is meant to be over here. It's kind of got a shape like this, like if I turn this on and off, you can see what I'm trying to talk about, but there's like no way to tell what it is exactly. I don't know about you guys, but in this scene, this blood looks pretty damn fresh to me. If that's the case, did these Smiling Critters just come down here, kind of like Dog Day is over here? We've got a Bobby Bear hug, catnap, and another Dog Day. You can just see some crafty corn, kickin' chicken, hoppy hopscotch, bubba fin, and the freshly deceased picky piggy. Weird. The assumption is that this place is very old and very far away, so you would think anything that could or would die down here probably would have by now. I think the state of this place being so decayed lends itself to what is really happening in this scene over here, which is plushie on plushie cannibalism. They're probably starving so much that they're just looking for fresh carcasses of each other to eat. And I'm really stuck on what this one actually is. You can see some white and blue over here, which makes me think of crafty corn. But then this red and pink hand just looks like Bobby Bear hug. It could be so saturated in blood that the white and blue turned into red. That's a possibility. A really dark possibility now that I think about it. Jeez. Look at Sheep Rampage trying to be all slick, hiding over here. Look, he's even got a freaking smile on his face while he's going for Dog Day. Just hiding in the shadows, lurking, waiting for its next victim. And then we've got this horrific scene over here. It's weirdly juxtaposed because it's actually kind of beautiful with all the rainbow colors, until you realize they're all just dead. These massive cubes look like containers of some kind. And based on them being similar size to the piles of plushies, I'm starting to think that maybe these were inside of them. They say that this is meant to be a forgotten part of the facility, something that they tried to tuck away. Potentially the place where they did all of the experiments, and therefore some of the failed experiments as well. And what better way to forget about them than putting them into these boxes and imprisoning them? These three colors over here, to me, they look too much like the Playtime Co. signage colors. It's their logo. You've got red hair on the P, then blue on the inner square, which is the blue square over here, and yellow on the inside being the yellow background, and then some black trim which they use for the font over here. I'm sticking to my theory that this was the original logo for the original company. Someone pointed out that these are most likely old school computer screens, which tells you that this place is freaking ancient. And I think this company was hell-bent on making bioweapons for some kind of war, and then they eventually rebranded to this toy company. But what we'll find down here is the remnants of that company's doing. Like this, the prison cells that they used to put their experiments in when they failed or couldn't be bothered dealing with them. The bloodbath that was left behind. I don't know why I struggle to say bloodbath. The bloodbath that was left behind when everyone went rogue. Potentially the first attempts at creating a kid-friendly location like this aquarium over here. And most importantly, their first failed rejected toys, which I am certain are the rejected Smiling Critters. I said this in my last video, but I want to say it again because I really think I hit the nail on the head here. I toot my own horn sometimes. We've seen examples of toys made by the company before that were rejected because their concepts were bad. I think this is an example of one of those concepts from the early days that was freaking terrible. A sheep sheep critter that was based on death, which probably led to a whole line of rejected smiling critters. I do think a few more things now make sense that were in the Story So Far Part 3 video. Obviously, we got the next outbound transmission September 30th, which was the teaser trailer. We knew that was gonna happen. It's this line right here.
Like lambs to the slaughter.
Lambs to the slaughter. It's pretty convenient that he refers to a lamb in particular, when the new smiling critter we got, or the rejected smiling critter, is a sheep or lamb as well. The saying itself, like a lamb to the slaughter, is if someone does something or goes somewhere like a lamb to the slaughter, they do it without knowing that something bad is gonna happen, and therefore act calmly and without fighting against the situation. When I read that, the first thing I think of is that scene that we just saw in the teaser trailer. That's exactly how the Dog Day plush was entering that underground area. It was waddling along calmly, just looking for food, which adds to my running theory that us going down into this lower level of the facility has opened the door for not only us, but other critters as well. Toys, mascots, everything. And what's waiting down there is ready to slaughter us. Also, just by the way, something that I feel like is never talked about enough is the way that we end up going down into chapter 4. We go through a massive vault door. The first thing I think of when I see this is a freaking nuke chamber. It looks like one of these to me, or even one of these. The only reason why I bring this up is because I think it adds to my theory that I said before. The original occupation that this facility was under, I believe that it had something to do with war and creating weapons. One of the newest and most intense weapons of mass destruction that has been made in the modern world is a nuke. And maybe the company that was making those was also making bioweapons like the toys that we see here. That's why at the bottom of the facility they have a nuke door ready. But all of this was tucked away because they changed their occupation and became a toy factory. But hey, look, that's just a running theory. I don't think it's very solid and I think it has a lot of holes in it. But look, we're just playing out here. One thing's for sure, this next chapter is only going to get darker and darker. And I kind of feel like us entering this next chapter has meant that we have opened the gates of hell of some kind. Also, one thing I completely don't understand is why Dog Day takes so many L's. Just give the guy a break. Let him rest in peace. And another thing, I think the sheep smiling rejected critter is not going to be the only rejected smiling critter we're gonna see. And I definitely don't think that it's gonna be the main antagonist of this chapter either. Oh yeah, and one last thing before we end this video now that we know so much about chapter 4. What the hell happened to the circus? For those of you that don't know, this was a poster that was found in chapter 3. You could find it thrown around all of Playcare. It's got Poppy sitting right in front of a new park. Got a nice roller coaster and some beautiful circus tents. Everyone assumed this is where the next chapter was gonna be. But based on these images here, I don't see any circus of any kind, unless they're trying to do the classic bait and switch. Look, regardless, I am super excited. I hope you guys are super excited as well. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's keep it flowing like this is a date or something. Drop your theories below on what's going on. Oh, and make sure to like the video because that helps me out more than you could possibly imagine. And if you haven't done so already, consider subscribing. But you have free will, so you can actually do whatever the hell you want. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.